Hi, and welcome to the EVGA Podcast. I am Brandon.
I'm Jacob.
And we are both back from last week. I know a lot of you missed us last week because we were both unavailable, which
I don't
is
think
unfortunate.
anybody missed you.
Thanks, Rob. It's always good to feel wanted. But we're back this week. We're going to do a little bit of kind of a comeuppance from last week since we weren't here. We're going to cover a few of the things we did last week in a little bit more detail. Primarily, we're going to go over Precision X16. We're going to talk a little bit about Windows 10 and what that's going to entail, the 980s, the 970s. A few games we're going to talk about, and we're going to go back to our fighting game rivalry that me and Jacob have, and we're going to play a little bit of dive kick. So that's going to kind of settle the score between the Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat thing we've been doing back and forth. But that's kind of the gist of it. So first things first, we're going to talk a little bit about the Precision X16 that launched recently. So I'm going to pass this over to Jacob, and he's going to tell you a little bit about this. There you go, Jacob.
All right, so Precision X16 launched, well, basically when the 980 and 970 launched. So here's what it looks like. The UI has changed quite drastically, actually. So a lot of the configurations options are actually located right in the center here. So here you can see all the system GPU vitals. So you can kind of scroll this to see more detail, or of course you could double click it. I'm not sure if you can see that on the stream or not, but
yeah, it's not showing
well,
there.
anyways, but if you double click that, it pops out and shows you all the different vitals of the card. If you click that one more time, it shows you all the configuration options, you know, like here's how you set a custom fan curve. Again, I'm not sure if that one's probably not showing either. But it pops up in a new window. It shows you you can set your fan curve there. You have OSD settings, frame rate target, all that kind of stuff is located right in the center here. One of the other things that we added is the GPU temperature right here. So it shows you your GPU clock and your GPU temperature kind of right up in the
It's pretty handy.
right up there. And there's actually the GPU temperature does actually show on this small graph down here too, so it's pretty neat.
Interesting. Is there anything else different we should know about this one in comparison to the previous iterations?
Those are the main things. There has been quite a few bug fixes, but you know, we're still continuing to develop it. And one of my favorite features on the new Precision is actually right here in this section. On select cards, it'll show you the actual, like for example, if you have a classified card, it'll say classified. Or if you have a super clock card, it'll say super clock. So we can actually recognize the ID of the graphics card. It's called the sub device ID, and that identifies it's a super clock card or an FTW card classified, and we're able to show a small logo there. So it's kind of cool.
Interesting. Is there any particular presets or settings you'd recommend, or is that pretty much just specifically to your particular setup?
You mean yeah, it's going to vary a lot depending on what you're really looking for. We do have a new feature here. There's a preset fan curve option, so you can set an aggressive or quiet fan curve. So you know, that's a real simple way to. Can you see that on the stream? Yeah,
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
So that's a real simple way
for
somebody who doesn't want to mess with 1,000 settings. That's a real simple way to, in one click, kind of make your card run quieter or make it cool better. You know, it just automatically adjusts the curve when you select the quiet or the aggressive curve mode.
Does it recognize non-EVGA cards?
It'll work on non-EVGA cards. It'll work completely fine as long as it's NVIDIA, but it won't recognize like
The super clock.
yeah. If it's another vendor, it won't recognize that.
That's understandable. I know someone requested that we show the OSD on the game when we play dive kick. It may or may not work. We will attempt it, but we'll see because we are doing a lot of things with various windows. So we'll turn it on and we'll see if it works.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll try it.
We'll find out when it happens. But if it works, fantastic. If not, well. All right. So I know a lot of you may have watched the podcast last week, and Jacob was actually on the PC Perspective podcast. We just wanted to do a shout out to his podcast and say thank you, pretty much. I know you had a good time over there.
Yeah, it was
fun. A lot of stuff.
And if you didn't catch the live stream of it, it's available on his website and YouTube channel. So I think it's youtube.com/PCPer.
Fantastic.
So, or you can just visit the link there. I think Rob posted it in the chat.
The link is in the chat. And speaking of giveaways, I know we did this last week as well. We are going to be giving away another 480 in this particular podcast. So Pay attention to the chat. There will be a question that will randomly show up, and when that does happen, the first person to answer correctly will win themselves a 480, courtesy of Throwback Thursday. So, in the meantime, we're going to skip over to the next interesting thing.
Okay.
Excuse me. So, I recently over the weekend, or not over the weekend actually, it was earlier in the week, I believe it was on the 30th, they finally unveiled Windows 10.
They skipped 9.
They totally skipped 9. And from what I'm hearing, there's rumors going around. The reason behind this is because it's leftover coding in the actual thing from the old Windows 95 days.
Yeah.
And it would mess with the system if they.
I heard it was some applications they recognize. They basically look for Windows 9 something, and it'll run in like compatibility mode if that's the case. So. Whether or not that's the reason why, I'm not sure, but it sounds like a perhaps legitimate reason.
Yes, it does. I mean, if that is something that would hinder the entire operating system, I understand why they did it. But Windows 10 kind of, to me, it seems like a fusion between 7 and 8.
Kind of, yeah. I installed the preview. I think it was technical preview, I think it's called. And, yeah, it's very similar to 8. In terms of the feel of everything, but it does have the start menu is redesigned.
Yes.
So,
but it still has the Metro, but the Metro is actually
Metro
on the start
is
menu.
there, yes, and Metro applications are there, but they run in windowed.
Yes.
So
that was a big gripe.
So they're
for a lot
not
of people.
full screen applications. You can actually shrink them, close them. So
I remember trying to use Skype,
nice.
and it was pretty much just. You've got it there in your whole window, and that's where it's going to be.
Yeah, I remember for Skype, there's 2 versions. You could get like Skype for desktop or Skype for Windows 8 or something.
Yeah, it was rough times.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a host of performance increases and
yeah, I'm sure there's a lot more
optimizations.
features to come as well. I mean, it's a very early preview right now. I think it's going to start shipping next year.
Yes, I believe they're speculating mid next year, sometime mid 2015, possibly a little bit later. But I mean, that's entirely tentative.
Yeah, but even the developer preview, it still seems pretty stable and solid, and no real issues. The standard Windows 8 drivers seem to work perfectly fine on it.
I'll have to give that a shot at some point and see if I like it, because Windows 8 just didn't do it for me. So hopefully 10 will be my next upgrade. It did come out a little bit quicker in comparison to previous operating systems.
There are some things, like Windows 7 to Windows 8, there are some things that are quite nice, like the
Task Manager.
The Task Manager in Windows 8 is really great.
It's amazing.
And the multi-threading performance in Windows 8 is actually, they made a lot of improvements. I'm not sure if a lot of that has been rolled into Windows 7 as patches, but I remember when Battlefield 4 launched, it actually showed better performance in Windows 8 because of the multi-threading improvements. So.
I'll have to keep that in mind. I mean, I have a hex-core processor right now, so it will probably increase my performance a fair bit.
Yeah, in some applications, yeah.
Some applications. All right, moving right along, we're going to show you a little bit more in depth into the 980 and 970 cards. Everyone, I'm sure, is probably the most interested in those because they just came out. So we've got a few to show you here today, and Jacob's going to go over them and show you a few of the components, and we're going to go into some details.
Yeah, so 980 and 970 is the latest cards that just launched. I'm sure everybody is pretty familiar with these. Maxwell GPU, very, very power efficient. They overclock fantastic.
Fantastic.
Really good. Like a GTX 980, you can do 1500 megahertz on it.
That is pretty fantastic, actually.
This is the GTX 980 ACX 2.0. So this is our new fan. And a lot of the improvements on the 2.0 is actually in the fan motor.
Okay.
So I have 2 examples here. So I'm not sure. This is probably not that easy to see, but basically 1.0 versus 2.0. And just by looking at the motor, you can see it is pretty beefed up on the 2.0.
Yeah, it looks to be about a good 50% increase.
So what it is a 3-phase 6-slot motor design. So what that does for you is drastically increase the power efficiency. So I think it's something like it uses less than half the wattage of the previous.
Well, it pretty much falls in line with the entire Maxwell chipset altogether.
It does, and actually, there's a hidden benefit to that, and a lot of people don't understand this. Is that when you're overclocking a modern graphics card, anything after Kepler, you have a power target, and that is like your power ceiling, and the fan power consumption is actually part of that
So essentially, what you're saying is lower power consumption.
Right. So the lower the power consumption on the fans,
the
more power is available for the GPU. So there is kind of a hidden benefit there.
Interesting. Can you show the other side of the fans?
Yeah, there's not. I don't think you can see much there, but it's probably pretty hard to see on the stream there. But that's the other side. But you can see. Again, I don't know how much difference you can see there, but there's a pretty
let me see that when we get real close.
There's a pretty visible difference.
So just so you can actually get an idea of what we're referring to is you can see the coils inside of it. One has 4, one actually has 6. It makes a difference.
The other big change also is the actual fan blade style. So you notice that we increased the fan blades to 11 fan blades. On the 2.0, and the actual direction of the fan blades has been changed. So it's called a swept style. Mm-hmm. That's what the type of blade is called, and that helps increase the CFM and reduce the noise as well.
Fascinating. I see you have another car over there as well that I'm very interested in. Want to bring that over?
This one.
So this is what I want to get.
So this is the GTX 980 Hydrocopper. So for this one, we teamed up with EK. And developed this block for the GTX 980. It's actually quite similar to the block that we developed for Titan Z.
Okay.
But there are a couple of improvements. So one of the things you'll notice is that there are 6 inlet and outlet ports here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that gives you a really wide configuration
if you want to run something from the front.
So for example, if you have cards that are like right next to each other, mm-hmm. you can put the inlet and outlet on the top here and you won't interfere with anything. So it's a pretty nice option there. We also added some additional LEDs.
What color?
They're white LEDs. So there's an LED in here, and there's an LED right here as well. So more LEDs are always nice.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's definitely the card that I plan on upgrading to when I get the chance. As soon as they're available, I'm going to be first in line. I may have a little bit of a jump on you guys, but you never know.
As far as so Sin was asking about the price. So the water block itself we're still finalizing, but probably around $150. That's kind of the going rate for most of our water blocks.
Yeah,
of course,
generally.
the card with the water block on it, we haven't really determined the final price on that one yet.
So yeah, when that comes out, we'll make a big announcement about it. We always do.
And actually, Ryan from PC Perspective posted up a nice installation guide using our water block and the results using our water block. And I think he was doing like 42 degrees Celsius under full load. So
that's pretty good. Really, I mean, that's solid, especially if it's overclocked as well.
So
especially at 1500.
And so somebody asked about the release date. So these are coming pretty quick. We can expect to have these probably around middle of October.
Okay. I think I can wait that long. I don't know. We'll see. Additionally, also, we are going to be we just kicked it off a little while ago. We are going to be doing a 970 backplate promotion in the US and EU. Select 970 cards. All the information is on the website, which Rob will post right now with the information. So just want to let you all know about that. Anybody who has purchased a 970, it is retroactive, so you can go back and get that. Moving on, we're going to talk about some games that have come out recently. So the big one that came out, I believe it was on the 30th, so 2 days ago, was Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. And it's been getting a lot of buzz, a lot of hype. It's been getting pretty much 9s across the board on most review sites. But not because it's Lord of the Rings based or because of the story. It's pretty much all about the gameplay in this regard. Have you heard anything about it?
Yeah. Actually, initially I wasn't that interested in it because I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings fan.
Me too, actually.
But as I started hearing more about this game, it actually sounds really interesting, and I definitely want to check it out.
Pretty much the way it's been described to me, canon and lore not included, it's a combination as far as gameplay-wise of Batman for the combat, Assassin's Creed for the parkour, and Far Cry for the environments and kind of the random occurrences. A lot of times you'll just be walking by and all of a sudden 2 rival orcs will be sitting down to have a fight. Just either a dinner or fight or both at the same time, and you can kind of jump in and interject, or you can help one side, or you can just sit there and watch. But really the main concept behind it is the Nemesis system, which is all the different orcs. They kind of have a hierarchy of where they're ranked and their power levels and their abilities and so on. And your character in the game is immortal. You die, but you're always brought back to life. But every time you die, it has an effect on this Nemesis system. The orcs will level up. The ones that were involved, the one who got the killing blow will get a promotion, and people higher up will move around. And the thing is, every death matters. Even if you get killed by a wild animal, the party that was hunting that wild animal or a patrol will come by. They'll find your body. They'll take credit for it. They'll get the promotion. And and all of them have personalities and fears, and how you interact with them can adjust and change those personalities and fears for the future. You may blow up a barrel next to a guy and set him on fire. He runs away, comes back later, he's got a bag over his face where the burns are. I mean, it's incredibly in-depth as far as how far they went into these personalities. And it's
from Monolith.
It is from Monolith, and it seems really, really interesting, and pretty much everybody who's played it has said it's really, really fun. So I'm very, very interested in checking this game out for sure.
Same with me, and I think they have a. I was hearing that there is like a one of the quality settings
yes.
wants 6 gigabytes of
they released
texture memory,
a Ultra HD texture pack to go with the game.
So it's actually a separate
download, but it is officially from them. Yes, it does. By the way, the fluid does show through the EVGA logo as far as the hydrocopper card is concerned. But yes, it's a texture pack released by the company. It's an Ultra HD texture pack that requires a 6 gig VRAM frame buffer.
Wow.
Which is pretty intense. I mean, not many people are going to be... I mean, you pretty much have to have a Titan for all intents and purposes. But supposedly... you could have a Titan Z as well. Yes, that's true. But it looks good. It looks good. But we're going to get on to the dive kick right now. So excuse us while we prepare to fight each other. All right.
This is my first. Well,
for any of you
this is almost my first time playing.
who have played or don't know about dive kick, the concept of this game is you have 2 buttons. You have a jump and you have a kick.
So it's the dive and kick.
Correct.
Basically.
Everything is a one-shot kill, and it's best of 5. So we're going to play a couple rounds of this, and we'll see how this goes.
How do I select my guy again?
You only have 2 buttons, so you use one of those buttons. Or you just press both together. Okay. Now you need to set your dive and your kick.
Oh. Oops.
You just reverse them. There you go. Now hit. There you go. Okay, so just tap it. Just hit both together at once. Probably waiting for me to choose mine. Let's see. I think I'm gonna be the Baz. Okay, now you select that.
All right. So wait. Where are we at with our kind of fighting game tournament?
Are
we even?
We've played 2 Mortal Kombats and 1 Street Fighter. You've won both of the Mortal Kombats, but I did get a flawless.
So you could tie it up here
on that last time.
I'm not sure what I'm picking here.
See, these just minorly... Most of these don't really make any difference from what I've seen.
I picked something.
I'm just going to pick kick as well. But they just minorly adjust it. Now you can pick your costume.
Oh, awesome.
I like metal, hence why I like this guy, because he looks very metally. Alright, so... I told you about this earlier. He didn't bother to do any research on this. He just played the one character, but a lot of the characters behave very differently. So I hope you understand this guy behaves.
Wait, I forgot how to jump.
You only have 2 buttons. So...
Oh, man.
This is actually different. They've changed him since then. Last time I played him, he used to have basically a lightning bolt.
Now I'm dizzy. Wow. Jeez.
Can't let your guard down in this game, Jacob.
Oh!
Just came short.
I think I hit you in the leg.
That's unfortunate. Alright, well I gotta use this whip to my advantage.
You know, I don't think that's very fair. How come I don't have
Life is not fair. Yes, you don't. Every character behaves differently. They have pretty much ups and downs about it. My guy, obviously, his arc is very predictable, and it's a little bit harder to do short durations.
Oh!
Exactly. He has more of a recovery time. If you swing incorrectly, it pretty much leaves you entirely open to the mercy of your opponent.
Oh no. Oh, that was close.
Gotcha. This guy actually used to behave completely different. He used to have a lightning bolt kick where his kick actually did nothing, but it would create a lightning bolt after the fact. And that lightning bolt after the fact would do this.
So is that it? I'm dead.
That's it. You lost. I'll give you a rematch.
All right.
And a character select, but you did lose. And that right there is, well, I only got a B for not losing.
You got a B for not losing.
I was exemplary in diving and kicking. My not losing skills left much to be desired.
Yes.
Alright, we'll try one more time.
You really think you can beat me? Yeah, probably.
12. Oh, man.
Just got you, barely. That's unfortunate. So it is best 2 out of 3.
I'm dizzy again.
You are.
Wait, what happened?
We double KO'd each other.
Wow.
I didn't even know you could do that. Alright. Oh, it just doesn't. Okay. So when you double KO, it straight up is a wash. It doesn't count for either side. And then you got the headshot.
Oh, you're dizzy. So wait, what happens when you're dizzy like that?
When it means you jump. You don't jump as high and you don't kick as far, but it's a timer effectively as it wears off. But it means you have a chance. I gotta stop doing those short jumps. You're just waiting for them.
I'm starting to learn. I'm starting to get the rhythm of this.
You're just waiting for it. All right, I gotta be careful now.
Wow.
Yeah, that was bad. All right, so this is not going well for me. There's no good way to do that.
All right, so now we're one. So we have to play one more.
Yeah, that's 1-1.
Because now we need to tie.
This is bad news.
Look at my hair.
Yeah, you're very spiky. You should do your hair like that for real. We should probably have Rob do his hair like that.
Yes.
All right.
Round 1.
Oh, I jumped too late. Now that you figured out the pattern, this is much harder.
So this would be a fantastic game for the NES because it only has 2 buttons.
That's true, it would be.
Oh no! Wow, barely missed it.
What do you know? Man, this arc is difficult. I'm getting killed now. Come on, Jake.
I'm starting to get the hang of this. Does this game have multiplayer?
Yeah, it does. Man, it's so easy to predict. Yes, it does have multiplayer, actually.
Oh no! Whoa!
Gotcha.
Oh man!
You just kept jumping. It worried me.
Oh wait, I got a. Oh no!
You almost got the full.
Thought I had a full shoot. Oh!
This is
My shoe's almost freezing difficult. What? Cheating again?
Alright, you got me. You got me.
Oh wow!
I actually was expecting this character to play like he used to, and he certainly does not. That is my fault for not checking. And especially because I criticized you for not checking earlier, and I didn't check myself. It's even worse. Alright, so Jacob trumped me again. It's not my week. Okay, so we're going to move on. So there was a bunch of stuff in gaming this week. We actually had a really, really big patch in 2 games, which was Battlefield and Dota 2. Battlefield had huge changes, moved a lot of the movement more in line with BF3, but still retaining the fluidity of the actual animations. A lot of weapon balances, I believe.
So what does that mean?
As well.
Like more like Battlefield 3?
It's a little bit faster.
Really?
Whereas in Battlefield 4, when you ran away, unless you were right next to a wall, you're pretty much done. So in between that, to pause on that subject, we actually have a winner. The question was, how many CUDA cores does the GTX 480 have? And the answer was 448. Our winner was Freeze Hell, I believe.
Freeze Hell?
So, yes, Freeze Hell. So you'll be getting a message on Twitch, and it'll tell you instructions on where to go from there. So let us know, and we'll get back to you. But continuing on for the Battlefield patch, it increased the movement speed, but still kept the animations. Because a lot of people said the animations in 4 are great, but the movement speed's a little bit slow. It's a little bit clunky. It doesn't flow as well. Whereas Battlefield 3, a lot of people...
Have you tried the update?
I haven't. The update came out...
Like yesterday?
It came out a few days ago. I think it was 2 or 3 days ago. That, and they also changed a ton in their netcode, which was a big, big problem for Battlefield. The netcode before, there was a lot of drops, a lot of issues. According to them, they now have the fastest netcode for any current online multiplayer game. So
Bold claim.
that is their claim. That is bold, but I mean, to be fair, they've spent a lot of time messing. They've basically been messing with their netcode since the game came out.
Well, if it's anybody who can optimize their netcode, it would be them.
They certainly have the funds to do so and the reason behind it. So,
and they have the history, you know. I mean, they were
true.
like doing 64-player matches before almost anyone, I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's true.
Not an MMO, obviously not like an MMO, but
MMOs are a different kind of connection. So, but that was one of the games that had a giant patch that came out, and then we also had Dota 2. I don't know if any of you out there play Dota 2, but Dota 2 had a massive patch as well. They fundamentally changed large portions of the game. They messed with the map. They changed the way Roshan was located, or where he was located. They adjusted a lot of heroes that have been around a long time. If any of you play Dota, it changed Rikamaru, Phantom Lancer. A lot of these characters have been the same for ages. Recently changed. They added a few items, changed a few things here and there, but it was a really, really big patch, and a lot of people weren't expecting it. I certainly wasn't. So when I was reading the patch notes, there's a lot of jaw-dropping. Oh, wow, I can't believe they changed that. I can't believe they messed with that character. He plays entirely different.
Sometimes when you see games make such large changes like that, I don't know, sometimes not everyone is always a fan of the changes, you know?
I'm not negative on the changes. I don't fully understand the implications of all of them yet. As far as some of the character changes, yes, those are a little bit easier to, after you play the character once or twice, you kind of get more of a feeling for how it plays now. But as far as like the map changes, and the implications are still not fully realized, because they added a lot of extra pathways through the woods, a lot of hiding spots here and there, and just the way you were used to moving and where you place your wards kind of changed a little bit. So characters that were really excelled at hiding and throwing surprise attacks through the woods are now have a lot more of an advantage because there's a lot more of those paths and hidden spots to shoot from. So we'll kind of see how that goes. Still undecided. But last but not least on the gaming front, Minecraft. I know a couple weeks ago we mentioned that Minecraft was potentially going to be bought by Microsoft. A couple days after that, they were. Microsoft bought Minecraft for $2.5 billion. And Notch, true to his word, when it was being talked about, left the company immediately. Pretty much as soon as it went through, he said, all right, that's it, I'm out, peace. He wants nothing to do with it. Notch does not like to be in the public eye. As much as he has been, he's not a fan of it. He even went so far as to say that in his projects he will be working on in the future, if one of them starts to pick up steam and become popular, he'll most likely drop it altogether just to avoid that situation again. So we'll see. Everyone's kind of tentative on the fate of what Minecraft will become in Microsoft's hands.
Yeah. I mean, they still have a pretty big team, I would imagine. I mean, as much as a lot of people think that all of it was Notch, yeah, he was the founder, but they have a team that developed that.
Actually, Notch had stepped away from it a long time ago. He passed down all development to Jeb quite a long time ago because he didn't want to be part of it anymore. Mainly, He had the impression that I have my vision of Minecraft, and that's the way I'm going to see it. So I'm not going to do a lot of things that people want me to do because that's not how I see Minecraft. He said Minecraft is not what I envisioned. So he gave it to Jeb because he didn't want to not give the people what they wanted simply because of his ideals.
Right.
I believe 3 people actually left Mojang, if that's how you pronounce it.
I think so. Yeah.
I believe Jeb and the majority of the development team did stay. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not worried about that team. I'm more so worried about what Microsoft, if anything, they do to it. They may not do anything. It may be perfect, but we're all kind of tentative on what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can predict that right now. So we'll see.
Yes, Rob.
A little discrepancy. On Newegg, it does list the 1480 having 480 CUDA cores.
Really?
So we are going to also give one to Gumby.
Okay.
Who answered that first?
All right. We'll do both. So congratulations, Gumby. Thank Newegg. And fantastic. But yeah, the actual 1480 does have 448, so that's probably a typo on Newegg. But for the sake of fairness, we will give one to Gumby as well. So Gumby, you will also receive a message on where to send the correspondence, and we'll go from there. But that should pretty much wrap up this podcast. If you have anything you'd like to add later on, feel free to send us an email at podcast@evga.com or any comments or concerns. And there will not be a podcast next week. Heads up, both me and Jacob will not be here. But there should be one the week after that. So look forward to it and hope you enjoyed the podcast.
Thanks.
See you.
Bye.